So I'm skimming really briefly a presentation about UK residential property where the focus is going to be on forecasting capital returns. So there's a national cyclical model, the local cycle, and avoiding overpriced units by analysing fade of new build premium. The case study example is this unit bought in 2016. And since I bought it and it served as an office, I know it pretty well. The photos are from 2016. So it's in Nottingham Lasker Market Conservation Area. It was a luxury warehouse conversion in 2002, and it had already resold twice by 2016 at lower prices than new. The lease, etc. okay, so we need to really understand what's going on. And in order to analyse it, we need to reprice this and other units to a single date. So I describe briefly a repeat sales index, but I won't go through the details. In a nutshell, we solve for an index X, let's move that, and as a daily rate of return. And now we need to check the index against a reliable benchmark by looking at the size of this error term. And the benchmark is the Land Registry UK House Price Index, city level, fitting holding period returns. Lower RMS error means that we have a marginally better fit across multiple locations. So we've ticked the accuracy box and we can confidently customize both the time bins and the index zones. The first application of the index is to reprice to a datum date so that we can aggregate. And we reprice units, aggregate across many units, and then to analyze new building fade, we compute the multiple M as price per square metre normalized by the zone average. And this multiple M and its evolution through time becomes the focus of attention. We've got a stationary metric that we can now analyse. So new build sells for a premium which fades, and the result is an abnormal return of minus 13% for flats and somewhat lower magnitude for houses. So on average, new build sells at a multiple of 1.2 times, and for flats this decays over 10 to 13 years to a multiple close to 1. And for houses it's a little less dramatic. Now, apportioning the loss to years, it seems like this effect is not going away. It may be getting stronger since 2020 was the worst in a decade. Now, as expected, the loss is proportional to the initial premium paid. And for flats, the first owner on average loses half of that premium with a fixed 3.7 on top. 3.7%. It's also related to the holding period. The longer that is, the more you lose. You can see, so both are significant. You can see it's a high correlation with the model fit based on premium and holding period length, especially for flats. And NG1 as a district was totally foreseeably going to be a bad case. And loss by first owner across the 104 areas of England and Wales for 2001 to 2005. In District 1, NG1 topped the National League table for 104 areas, similar in areas, area-wide. And we can see that there was a lot of supply in 2002, 2/3 of sales were new build. Now this building is not the worst, it's in there at number 5. Most of these were newly constructed at that time, 4 out of the 6, so they were genuine new builds. Now to look at buildings in detail, we need to adapt the analysis slightly so we don't use unit square meters since those are noisy measures, and we make minimal use of the index. So all first sales in the case study building occurred in Q1 of 2002, that's approximately at the same time. So we take the unit's initial fraction of building value, and then on each resale we factor up the price to reprice the building. And we update the building's price per square metre and express that as a multiple of the district. And in the case study, the initial sales were at a 1.5 multiple, and we executed the buy on this unit and another follow-up the following year at about 0.83. The yields must have been really appalling, especially in the context of higher interest rates. So there's underperformance, but you can find value if you're patient, and you need the index technology to figure it all out. Now we're going to look at East London to look at districts, and we assign districts to quintiles, represented by colour, and we augment a bit with neighbours to calibrate the extremes of price. And now there's an affordability schedule expressing basically what a buyer can afford across the price spectrum. So something from a shoebox in Wapping to a somewhat more ample place in East Ham. And then as the prices shift up, they're constrained to buying at lower quintiles, and that's the ripple effect. So a linear tilt portfolio captures the quality spread. Prime end is A, the subprime end is C, and we construct this spread to have no directional exposure. And it turns out that this spread has big moves, and in London the CA spread has been trending up since 2014, so Southend has been outperforming Wapping, and the magnitude is large. It's gone from negative 0.17 to plus 0.16, so a 0.33 log return, which is 39% outperformance. We adjust the time bins to make the trends really clear, and we're free to do that. It's totally allowed. In these three examples, you can see that there's a propagating wave from from London through to Peterborough to Newcastle, and in each area it's a good idea to know which phase you're in and select pricey or grossy accordingly if you want outperformance. And in 2016, Nottingham was quality driven. That favours top priced A district, so NG1 was being top quintile, was on the right side of this trend. Now I'm going to try to explain the national factor model by generalising the CA spread. The content is okay, but I'm actually not so happy with the presentation, so I'll just skim it. The area selection, so area selection refers to a higher level non-local choice, and the stylized diagram shows three factors. Factor 1 is the market average as a whole, factors 2 and 3 are like sine and cosine waves, and factor 3 leads, and the period is about 15 to 20 years. So now we're effectively in 2004, playing it again. And now I'm going to show the same cycle in a different way. So basically, there's some math behind this, but I'm not sure the presentation captures it. The point is the return attributable to the cycle is the projection of the factor vector onto the betas, and it's actually quite rigorous. So right now, Teesside is getting all the love, whereas back in 2013 it was London, and the reverse was true. So the real cycle is analogous to our stylized version, and factor 1 is rewarded long-term, factors 2 and 3 are not. They're cyclical risk. The amplitude of both factors is about 7 units, and the period is about 15 to 20 years. And the real betas follow an arc similar to our stylized version. The range for beta 2 is about 0.1 or 10%, and recall these sensitivities. When the factor swings through 7 units over maybe 7 years, the differential impact can reach 0.7 or 70% more from peak to trough. And the arc progresses from high price on the left to low price on the right. And that's if we can now linearly relate price per square meter to the polar angle. So in summary, and we can look at it 3D. There's a national, we can forecast we can forecast this cycle nationally, and that gives us insights into the pricing of areas. And these are the forecasts for the factors at points in time, and seeing how they turned out. We got a pretty good representation of what happened for factor 2 and then for factor 3. And then we feed those factors through the sensitivities, the betas, to get an entirely consistent set of forecasts. And the back test has done pretty well. We've managed to forecast the spreads very well. And we also got the fact that Nottingham was going to outperform London by a significant amount. Why no factor 1? Well, firstly, beta 1 dominates explaining the index, but for spreads, factors 2 and 3 are really important. Secondly, we just don't know how, because actually it's a macroeconomic effect, and we can't foresee pandemics or election results and so on. So who's this of interest to? Well, home buyers, of course, investors, whether they're buy-to-let or institutional, intermediaries, not just sort of estate agency chains, but those people who sell products to high net worth individuals overseas. Instead of selling developers products, why not open up through a disciplined, systematic overview of the market, access to the secondary market. There's the developer, possibly, the lender securitizer, the mortgage provider, the bank, and the trader of mortgage-backed securities who want look through to the collateral quality. Products, there's numerical products, index, factor and forecast, there's reports, regular status updates on the indices, and the turning points and where we're going. And one-off reports on infrastructure such as HS2, Crossrail, Freeports, whatever it may be. Software that this is all highly structured. It runs its batch job all the way from the raw data to the finished results. It's all open source. It's all my own intellectual property, and it's well packaged. There are third-party technologies in the form of ARPM, Advanced Risk and Portfolio Management. So I've taken the marathon program, the invigilated exams, and the final project, which is this one that you're seeing, which gained a distinction mark, and I link into their software libraries in Python and R. I am available. Talk to me if you're interested in getting a step ahead in these technologies. So in summary, we've got the indices. They're the enabling technology. We've shown they're accurate. They are timely. They're customizable, which is key, so we can focus on quantiles, spreads, dates, and we can choose the date bins to emphasize the trends. Factor model, it's a statistical factor model, so-called, and it's unusual that it's really easy to relate it to fundamentals. Believe me, it's unusual. Beta is that arc in price per square meter, and factors are the ripple effect. Forecasts, we can drill down into to the building level and assess new build or fallen angels for value. And at the district level, we've got these trends, long trends. And at the national level for areas, we've got this two-factor cycle, which is the ripple effect quantified. And this has all been illustrated with this case study, and I've applied it with real money in real time here in NG1 with success. So I hope you found that interesting, and I'd love to have your comments, suggestions and feedback. That's all we've got time for, so I'll leave it there. I'll see you soon.